Okay guys, this is the Almighty Tools laser tape measure. I was gifted this by the brand and I'm really excited to give you my review of it because I personally have found this to be a bit of a game changer in my home. Almost every feature of this has been really well thought out. One thing that drove me a little crazy when I first started using it, I'll tell you about that, so make sure you keep watching. But overall, so easy to use. Okay, so first things first that I want to mention is that it does still have a traditional tape measure. Now, if you can see when I pulled that out, it automatically locked. This does have an auto lock feature. And then to pull it back in, you press the button and it comes back in. Something I just like, you know, whether when I'm doing my DIY projects around my house, I'm not, you know, I see some of these contractors, they come in and they're doing crazy things with these tape measures. I don't know how to do any of those crazy things. So the fact that it just auto locks makes it really easy for me. I can pull it back in nice and smooth. It has a belt clip. It has, you know, a little carrying handle. I'm sure that has a better purpose than to carry it, but whatever. This is where the laser comes out. This is where the cross laser comes out, which is a really cool feature. The tape measure here itself goes 16.4 feet and the laser will go 131 feet. So I honestly think this is something everyone can use, whether you are just a DIYer around your house or even if you're a contractor. My dad is an electrician. I showed this off to him. I was like, do you have a laser tape measure? And he's like, I actually don't. And I showed it to him and he's like, oh, this would be really helpful. And I was like, let me show you a little more. So anyway, I really like this and I do want to show you how it works. It has so many features too. Like there's so many different ways you can measure. You can measure twice and add them together, measure twice and subtract them. You can measure, let me show you. Okay, so first, this is the way, all the different ways that you can measure. Okay, a continuous measurement, area measurement, volume measurement. You can add two measurements together, subtract two measurements, second Pythagorean, primary Pythagorean, unit, you know, listen. And honestly, like I said, I don't necessarily claim to know how a lot of those measurements work. I probably would use maybe only 3 or 4 of those measurement styles because I'm just a DIYer in my house, but I'm sure there are so many people who could use those Pythagorean measurement systems. Okay, so here are the buttons on the side here. Okay, obviously a button to turn it on, change the unit, actually do the laser measuring, clear it and turn it off. So let's go ahead and just turn it on. Okay, here is what it looks like when it's turned on. So you see right now it is set to measure in feet. If you hold down this unit button here, it's now set to measure in feet and inches, meters, inches, and back to feet. So you can kind of just decide how you want to measure it or what measurement style you want. That's what I would do as soon as I turn this on. Okay, the next button I'm going to show you is this one up top. So when you click this, if you watch the top left corner, you'll see it's going to change. So here's the addition feature where you could take two measurements and it'll add them together. Same thing, but with subtraction. I'm assuming this one might be area or volume. I'd have to look back at the directions. Something about a Pythagorean. I see that triangle there. I know enough. I remember enough from high school to remember Pythagorean is something to do with a triangle. Secondary Pythagorean. And then back to your standard measurement. So let's go ahead and see what that laser looks like on my wall and see if we think it's accurate also. Okay, so to activate the laser, you hit this button here once. And now I'm going to show you on my wall. You'll see that there is a laser there. Okay, now I'm guessing I'm probably about 4 or 5 feet from my wall right now, but I'm going to go ahead and hit the measure button. I'm going to hit just that button again, and I am 4.61 feet from my wall, which is about what I said. Okay, that, like I said, is accurate in my opinion. Oh, and there is a battery button there, which is nice to see how much battery is left. This did take 2 AA's. Okay, it does also do a cross laser for you. So if you hold down this measurement button here at the top for just a few seconds, you get this. Okay, so this painting that I need to hang, this will potentially make my life a little bit easier. I can, identify how to make the straight line so I know where to hang my painting and things like that. So it's just a nice little feature that this also has. Okay, it does also store your data. If you don't hold down the button unit and you just click through it, it'll show you all of the different measurements you have taken. So, if you are measuring a room or, taking a bunch of measurements at once and you don't want to write them down as you go, it does store them for you, which is kind of cool. Okay, now I mentioned there was one thing about this that made me a little agitated, specifically at the beginning, which was just that there was a little bit of a learning curve. It wasn't simple enough that I was able to turn this on and figure out how to do all these things right away, especially because it genuinely does do so many things. So I turned it on and was expecting to be able to just kind of figure out how to use it instantly. And I did need to go ahead and open up the directions real quick. Now, once I did that, it was about 2 to 3 minutes of browsing through the directions to be like, oh, okay, I see how what I need to do to get the cross laser to come out. Like, would I have known to hold down the button for 3 to 4 seconds to get the cross laser to come out? No, that was something I needed to actually read in the directions. And if you guys are anything like me, sometimes reading the directions is annoying. So you might have to read the directions, which is my only knock on this, which really isn't a knock. It does that many things and it's that cool that you actually just need to read the directions to make sure you're utilizing it properly. So overall, something that genuinely is just going to help me out as, we're about to redo our kitchen and we have cabinet guys here all day. And half the time, my husband is still at work and I'm trying to talk to contractors and cabinet people and all these people on my own, and just having the ability to take some quick measurements before they get there. Oh, it auto turns off. I don't know if you just heard that, which is really nice because it preserves the battery life. Having the ability to do some measurements on my own in a large space like my kitchen is just something I can learn to appreciate. So thank you, the Almighty Tools, for making it easier for contractors and stay-at-home moms alike.